Hey, Jim Parquet here with VPX Baseball, and today we're going to start lesson 2 on building a pro-grade pitching delivery, right? So check out our first lesson plan on this. It'll help kind of get you assimilated and understand all of the components that we're talking about. But one of the things that we're going to work through, okay, there's about 4 components. The first one is going to be making sure that you have a good leg kick, okay? The second one is going to be your load out, or as your supporting energy down slope, okay? The third is going to be your foot strike and making sure that your kinetic chain reaction is synced properly in that. And then another aspect is going to be your arm stroke with how your hips move, okay? So the first one is going to be really basic, but it's very important. We want a good starting position in order to throw not only downhill, but also ride our back hip into foot strike. Because at the end of the day, all of this is built towards one thing. That's getting you into a good loaded position in order to maximize and execute energy flow. Not the pitch, but maximize and execute energy flow. Make it as efficient and as powerful and as explosive as possible. Those are the 3 components: efficiency, explosiveness, and as strong as possible, meaning the most amount, right? So I'm not really warm here, but I'm just gonna come to a good leg kick position, making sure I'm standing tall right here, okay? I've got a little closed off. I'm more towards first base. A right fielder or a right-hander will be more towards third base. Men, right? I'm more towards a first baseman. This would be first base, right? And this is first baseman. I'm closed off a little more, right? And that's what I want. So just stay closed off and go, okay? And as you find where that good starting position is that keeps you locked and loaded, you'll see that you're more efficient with a hip move that goes forward, a front hip move that goes forward, that keeps you more this way rather than this way, right? Call this the old style, right? Swinging open of the gate, right? We don't want that action. We want a drive into them, right? Boom, a drive into the catcher. And we get that by staying closed a little longer, hip. Okay. And as you can see, and I'm gonna take my counterbalance out, right? And I'm just gonna work, okay? Feels really weird right now, but what it's doing is it's keeping me, my separation proper, okay? That way I understand kind of where my body fits over my back hip, because again, we're trying to ride our back hip into foot strike so then we can have a good hip rotation and then wham, it goes. So in review, just stay over it, stay over your back hip as you're going through, and drive with your front side. Should look like that, okay? When you're practicing, you get the outside, we can go inside right here. You just have to stay closed or drive with your front hip a little longer. Okay? And even longer to get it in there. Okay? So, that's the first component, making sure that we're staying here, stacked at the top to give us good positioning. That's the key. Okay? The second one is our load out, or our move down slope, okay? Here's the ultimate goal of why we're trying to do that, okay? We want this action here, right? Chest out, standing tall, because later down slope, the ground leaves us, because the ground is actually supposed to be straight, but it leaves us. Our brain doesn't really know that, okay? So we have to have more support down here, because we're gonna drop on slope, okay? The second one is that with your scap, the more I leave support, okay, so I'm forward or I'm off the ball, the more the scap and the rotator cuff muscles protect your shoulder. So if I leave, it's going to pull, and what it's gonna do is decelerate my arm with my scap and my rotator cuff muscles and all of that. It's gonna set up for deceleration, because it's not gonna hurt itself. If there's no support, the arm has to be protected somehow, hence scap and rotator, okay? So what we wanna do is kind of trick the body and give more support down here so that the arm is supported, and therefore it frees up and allows all of that energy to flow through your arm, okay? So if I've got more support down here, right, more support down slope and where you're going to release the ball, then what happens is your scap and your cuff muscles, they relax a little more, and therefore it frees it up so you can really get that whip and use all of the energy rather than have energy escapement by pulling off. Energy is going to go this way, everything engages on the back of the shoulder and slows it down, and you don't feel that extra whip, right? So simple would be right here, boom, this feels good. Now if I go sideways, you can see where my arm goes, right? So I'm right here, I'm feeling good, boom, this is support downhill. But then if I go sideways, there's no support, because this right here, when I'm gonna go forward, my scap and cuff muscles are gonna decelerate and plank my arm, and I'm gonna have to pull it across in order to throw. If I get out front, the arm goes back here, and then I've got to throw same effect. That's why we want more support. Lift it up at the very end, right? Lift your upper half at the very end. So if we do it right, I'm going to have a good loadout. That loadout is requires this. You lead with your front hip, and you have to drop your leg down and go. You cannot go this way, because as soon as I start swinging with my leg, I'm gonna go wide or I'm gonna go this way, right? And then I have to reposition, and energy will start to escape in the different manners, and then your upper half does this, right? So if I do it wrong, you can see how my arm lags and my upper half goes this way, my arm lags back, right? I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna swing, right? I can still get it there, but I'm pulling it there. So if I did a fast motion, in order to compete, because we're all going to compete, I have to lower my arm slot a little and pull, okay? But if I do it right and I stay stacked here in my loadout, here in my loadout, and here in my loadout, there's two components to it. The first one is going to be making sure my back hip drive continues into foot strike and stay strong through that. So I'm going to do that here. Okay? So again, I'm going to exaggerate it for you. And remember, this is a drive. Watch my drive. I'm going to drive to him. Drive. Okay? Compared to a jump. We don't want to jump. This is a jump. Okay? I'm basically pogo sticking on the back. I'm doing this, and I'm pushing, which causes you to do this and that. Watch again. I'm going to jump at him, right? We don't want that. What we want to do is drive. It's like a power jab, right? We want to drive. Here, drive. Okay? Now, that's the first component, is getting a good drive, okay? The second component is making sure you connect the dots, okay? I'm 5'10", 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", 5'6", okay? Don't go 5'10", 5'8", 5'4", 5'2", kind of thing. And what causes that is you getting this way and coming off your back hip. The longer I can stay on my back hip from here all the way to foot strike, the better I'm gonna be. So a quick and easy way to connect the dots is just to stay chest out the whole time. So I'm gonna stay chest out here and all the way through into my foot strike. Chest out, okay? The ball just explodes out of my hand. It's nice and easy. Chest out, okay? See the off speed with the chest out right here. Nice and sharp. Again, chest out. All right. Oh. And here's chest in, okay? Chest in right here. It's a lot slower. It doesn't explode. It doesn't have late life. And it flattens me, right? Again, chest in. And what I'm feeling is my arm like here, and then I'm having to pull, and then it's here. Compared to I can feel my arm the entire way with them chest out to him, okay? Here's the off speed, and you'll see how loopy it is. Right? That actually fooled Sean. He thought it was gonna break a lot more, and it stayed. It was like a cement mixer, because I'm chest in, and then I have to get around it, right? So, chest out into foot strike. Chest out. Okay? One more time, chest out. Okay? Here's the next aspect, making sure that my arm stroke and release point are timed with my lower half, okay? The front foot strike is kind of like where a pole vaulter plants the pole, energy goes this way and then flings. So it's gonna plant the pole, energy comes up, gets pushed with the back hip into the arm and we go. That catapulting effect, or this effect, right? This is the pole or the power sail in the pole, and then the energy is released and we go. The shoulders should look like this, chest out, boom. That's how it should work because we got so much energy piled up and crested right here where we're like this, and then it goes that way. So I'm gonna work on that for you, and you do that by making sure that your arm stays down longer and syncs with your front foot, right? So I'm gonna keep my arm down longer. Okay? Again, I'm gonna keep it down longer. Now the ball is left over the plate, but it's still got good plane and I still have good elasticity, so it's got good late life, which we're gonna miss as pitchers, but if you still throw a quality velocity fastball, the hitter is not gonna be on it as much, right? Again, chest out and making sure that my arm stays down longer. Okay? Here's my breaking pitch. Chest out, down. Much harder and much steeper, okay? Throw a strike with it, down, there it is, okay? Now, after I get all of that aspect done, now what I'm gonna work on is making sure that I'm standing taller, longer. That kind of brings everything together, right? The taller I can be here, the harder I'm gonna throw. Now, tall doesn't mean to try to be 6 foot here because your lower half is gonna move and collapse you, but bring your upper half standing tall with a lower half that's driving and dropping you. So your lower half is gonna sink and parallel the slope because you've got to obviously, let's use common sense, you've obviously got to work on that slope. But your upper half cannot sink. It cannot drop. It needs to stay balanced over your back hip. So I'm gonna work on staying taller longer because then that gives me more support, right? More support down, and then I can really go. Even though I might be grinding in my legs, right, boom, grinding in my legs, I'm still tall. But I'm not gonna pull off so early. That's the key, making sure I'm staying tall here. Up, I'm gonna drive with the hip and keep the hand down, but I'm gonna stand as tall as I can for as long as I can. I actually felt like I got off there. I'm gonna do it even longer. There it is. I felt like I really stayed behind that, and then at the right moment on my hip, boom, bam, it went, okay? If you do this right, you stay taller longer, and you've done all the other components, your hip separation and rotation is gonna be synced, it's gonna be optimized, and I'll go to the story with that. I don't really work on hip rotation too much because what happens on hip rotation is we work on that and it's not synced and the tempo is incorrect to how the upper half and the arm stroke work. What happens is we start trying to find inside and outside. We have to guess where it is because I'm rotating to get there because it's too quick or too slow. Compared to if I sync it all together, I can just be like right here, inside, outside, inside, outside. That's the key right there. So I've found throughout all the years and through being on a big league mound for a lot of years is that if I stand taller longer, right, where I'm like this, okay, and I'm staying closed into foot strike, then it just naturally opens at the right tempo. I'm staying in dynamic balance and I'm creating good balanced force here, like tug of war, right? Two equal and opposite reactions, and then boom, it explodes through and I go. So if I do it right and I stand taller longer, again, taller longer, right there. Here's the off-speed pitch, taller longer. Okay? Now that wasn't as sharp, that kind of hung. Reason why is I got almost a foot strike and then I dropped off. But if I do it right and I stay over it, much harder, much better, and much sharper. You can see the differences in they're so small down here where the main event is. This is preparation up here. This is me understanding my tempo and getting set up for the main event. If I do everything down here and I don't try to throw the ball hard here, I'm gonna be a lot better down there because I'm supported later and I'm able to do and manipulate my arm better, which obviously gives you that extra oomph or that extra oomph or that extra little string that's pulled, right? So I'm gonna say that there's another component to this, which is your tempo. Having late arm life. Don't throw the ball hard here, right? When I got 50,000 people in the stands and I know that this fastball inside has to be 92, 94 and I can't miss, and this is the ball game, I know that I gotta hump up a little, right? And I gotta be a little better right here, or at least a little more concentrated and focused. But I'm not gonna sit here and try to throw the pitch from back here. I'm not gonna try to throw it right here. I'm gonna throw the pitch once I land and I'm all set up. Right at this point is when I'm gonna really get up on it and do my work. All of this is just rhythm, tempo, preparation to get myself in the right position, in the right frame of mind in order to execute. And if I've done all the work here, this will happen and then that will happen. As you can see, this is step one, this is step two, and that is a result. Most people think like I've got to get that outside and low pitch. Well, you do, but if you forget what it takes to throw that low and outside pitch, you're not going to make it to the top. So I'm going to prepare, not throw the ball from here, but I'm going to throw it from here, and it should look like this. Okay? Good preparation, ball, even though it's a ball, it's still to the spot or the location that I want. There it is, okay? And one last time, put it all together right here. Like that, okay? Hopefully you like this video. Check out our other ones on this course, and we got a full line of products, get you the big leagues.